Let's check out economics like we did the other ones. So click on view all courses. Okay. Then scroll down to economics. Okay, this is it. Then scroll down to start course. Not done continue course. Then scroll down. Start up. Okay. So first topic
is the definition of economics. Economics is the science which studies human behavior as a relationship between ends and scarce means, which have alternative uses. We're going to go straight to the basic concepts. Hello, welcome. This is Austin from Tclassified.com. Actually, we are in JAMB, WAEC, NECOUNI.com. This is an exam class tutorial lesson online for people that want to sit for JAMB, WAEC, NECO, GCE, or those exam classes. So you're welcome. Today I'm going to be teaching us economics. And rightly so, we're going to start with the definition of economics. What is economics? When somebody asks you what economics is, what definition are you going to give the person? We are going to go with the definition given by Professor Lord Leonard Robbins, and that is that economics is defined as the science which studies human behavior as a relationship between ends and scarce means which have alternative uses. This is the generally accepted definition for economics, and that is that economics is the science which studies human behavior as a relationship between ends and scarce means which have alternative uses. So actually economics is the study of the science of human behavior. In essence, it tries to show us how human beings behave with relationship with relative to prices of goods and services, everyday actions of business, buying and selling, how me and you as a human being behave towards price changes, how we go about buying and selling goods and services in our everyday living. That's what we learn in economics. So in essence, what is the definition of economics? Economics is the science which studies human behavior as a relationship between ends and scarce means which have alternative uses. We're going to go straight to the basic concepts that we see in economics. These are basically the definitions that we'll see as we go on with our study of economics. And number one is wants. Wants. W-A-N-T-S. Wants. This may be defined as insatiable desire or need by human beings to own goods and services that give satisfaction. In other words, wants are those things that you need in life, that those things that give you satisfaction. Example is you want shoe, you want an iPhone, you want a car so that you can drive your kids. All those things are known as wants. So those things that you want, those things that give you satisfaction, food, shoe, house, shelter, all those things are wants. So wants is the number one basic concept we are looking at. Then number 2 is scarcity. What do we mean by scarcity? Believe me that those resources that you use in satisfying the wants, they are not readily available. For you to satisfy any wants, let's say you want food, you need money to buy food. Your money is scarce because it is limited in supply. You don't have plenty money to buy everything you want. So that's where the concept of scarcity comes in, because you don't have enough resources to satisfy your wants. So we say that scarcity is the limited supply of resources which are used for the satisfaction of unlimited wants. Your wants are unlimited, they are so plenty, but you don't have enough resources to satisfy them. So you say that those your resources are scarce. That's where the concept of scarcity comes in. Then thirdly, on the basic concept, we have choice. Choice is a system of selecting or choosing one out of a number of alternatives. You find out that you have plenty things that you need to do with your limited resources. So you have to find a way of choosing the ones that are more important. So whenever you're choosing or you're selecting or you're finding a way to choose the ones that are more important, you're using this concept of choice. You have to choose the ones that are more important. So choice comes in. So choice is the system of selecting or choosing one out of a number of alternatives. And that brings about the concept of opportunity cost. Opportunity cost. This is an expression of cost in terms of foregone alternative. You're going to find out that when you want to satisfy some wants, there are some that you're going to leave unsatisfied. So those ones that you leave unsatisfied are known as opportunity cost, because you're going to leave them as the foregone alternatives in order for you to satisfy the most pressing needs. We're going to deal more with this when we look at our scale of preference and see the things that are more important that we look out for. Then last but not the least, we'll talk about production. Production is the various economic activities aimed at the creation of goods and services and the distribution of these to the final consumers for the satisfaction of human wants. So whenever you're talking about production, you're not only talking about production of goods, but you're also talking about production of services and also the distribution, because production is not complete until it gets to the final consumers for the satisfaction of human wants. So in essence, all the things you're doing in economics is for you to satisfy wants. Wants. You satisfy these wants with the limited scarce resources by making choice and leaving some through opportunity cost. So that's what we're going to be looking at. And next is economic problems. Every human being that is doing business encounters some economic problems, and your ability to take care of these problems exquisitely determines how good you're going to go doing business or being a very good economist. So economic problems are actually the problems people meet in the society while attempting to satisfy their numerous wants with the limited resources available to them. These economic problems are divided into three. Number one is what to produce. This question is one of the economic problems that confront any society. This problem arises mainly as a result of the fact that human wants are unlimited relative to the available resources. Because there are plenty human wants, you need to choose the one to take care of. And that's why you ask yourself, what products do I produce in order to take care of the human want that is more pressing? Because you cannot take care of all their problems. So you need to know what to produce, what the market needs, so that when you produce it, it will sell in the market. You don't produce goods that will not sell. So you need to ask yourself as a manufacturer or somebody that is taking care of an economic problem, what do I produce? You come into a society where everybody is sleeping on mats and you go and start producing bed. and people in the society cannot afford bed, how are you going to sell the foam? So you need to produce the things that are accustomed to the environment where you are, the things that will market, things that will sell. So what are the factors that determine what to produce? Number one is consumer needs. You need to take care of the needs of the consumers that you're looking at. If you come to a young population that have small kids, you need to produce for those small kids. That's where the market will grow, and that's where you're going to sell much. Market demand, that's the number two factor. You need to produce things that can be sellable, things that people are demanding for. Consumer income, that's the third factor. You need to produce things that people can afford. If you produce things that people cannot afford, then you will not be able to sell. Then number fourth factor is the cost of production. You need to produce things that you have enough resources to produce, not things that cost so high. Because if you produce things that cost so high, you'll be tempted to sell at a very high cost that people cannot afford. So cost of production is very, very important. You need to produce things that need lesser cost of production so that you can market them at a very good price. The number two economic problem, is how to produce. How do you
Okay, so let, let's look at further topics and methods of economic analysis using table graphs and measures of central tendency. This is a very important aspect in economics, and you just have to get to know about it.
from JAMB, WAEC, NECO unit? This is the text section of our discussions in economics for JAMB. Today we're going to be starting with methods of economic analysis, tools, and the things that we use in making economic decisions. These are the tools that help us to analyze economics and make the right decision. So today we are looking at the basic tools. These tools interpret economic principle in a way that is easy to understand. So in essence, we use these tools to make our economics analysis so that we can say that this is actually what is happening. If we say that a company is not doing well, how do we show that this company is not doing well? We do it using graphs, using tables, using charts, using mode, like calculation of median, mean, standard deviation. So you find out that without using table and graphs and charts, you cannot actually let people know how a company is performing. When you go to the annual general meetings of companies, they give out some leaflets that have diagrams that shows how the companies are doing, that shows whether the company is doing bad or good. So in this class, we are going to be learning how to do these tables, graphs, and charts. So what are tables? Tables is the most basic economic analysis tool. So we're starting with table. I'll say that table is a systematic orderly